Welcome to the Bank First Ranger Hour. Super Talk Mississippi 93.7 Spotlight on Northwest Community College. And you can listen to our live stream at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the Bank First Ranger Hour. Now, here's your host, Gary Darby.
Well, good morning, North Mississippi, and welcome into the program. It is a Thursday, December 5th edition of North Mississippi Spotlight. On Thursdays, we call it the Bank First Ranger Hour. All things involving NWCC will be in play and discussion today. In this portion of the program, for the next few minutes, we'll take a peek at, the cool temperatures in North Mississippi. I will remind you of an event on Northwest's the campus tonight involving the choirs. We have the Heindl Center that we need to give you information on. We'll take a pause, and we'll bring in the head coach of the women's soccer team, James Beattie, back to the program, national championship coach, James Beattie. We'll talk with him for a few minutes, take another break, and then I'll give you other items of business in the world of sports to discuss, all on our program today in the Bank First Ranger Hour. All right, Northwest has their holiday spectacular for their choirs tonight. That would be at 7 o'clock at the Heindl Center for the Performing Arts. There will be some portions of Handel's Messiah, several classic holiday tunes. You can join in on singing a couple of traditional carols along the way. And so there will be many things there. I think there'll be actually some instruments played along with the singing as well. The concerts are a way for the students to give back to the community that have supported them. So the concert's free. It's open to the public. Dr. Alex Belalovic and company welcoming everybody in the doors of the Heindl Center of the Performing Arts tonight at 7. Free and open. Get your Christmas on tonight. And if you are so inclined, there are more things going on at the Heindl Center to pay attention to. After tonight's performance, next up is Celtic Woman White Christmas Symphony Tour. That is on the 10th. So there's still time for you to get tickets. Still time for you to maybe gift those tickets to someone. So Heindl Center for the Performing Arts for Celtic Woman White Christmas Symphony Tour. They'll do It's a Wonderful Life film series coming up on the 15th. So there's several things before Christmas. And then becomes January and all of the events that will go on, including Brian Reagan, who will, as a comedian, kick it all off in January on the 11th. You're looking for tickets? Go to heindlcenter.org, heindlcenter.org, and you can find the upcoming season, how to buy single tickets, ticket packages of all kinds that are there for you to mix and match and do the things that you want, and be sure you go see the people that are coming up in the spring. Of course, you still have a little time left with Celtic Woman coming in on the 10th, and then a nice free event tonight with the Northwest choirs. So there's a myriad of things for you to go and do. And again, check it all out at heindlcenter.org. If you want to check out those ticket packages, it's pretty simple to do. You go to the website, and then you can get, different things, right? Season ticket packages in the lower orchestra, the upper orchestra, the balcony. There's a 5 flex package. So you can kind of pick out 5. There is a 3 flex package. You can go do that as well, whether you are a Northwest employee or you're just a person that likes to go and maybe see the Addams Family musical or the Beach Boys or whoever it might be that's going to be making it through Senatobia and the Heindl Center for the Performing Arts. Be a nice gift. Place where you get gift cards, even, if you want to do that. It's all right there at on the Northwest campus. and at heindlcenter.org. It is December the 5th. It is another Bank First Ranger Hour. You know the text message line at 662-426-1093. You reach me on X at GDarb65. The Facebook page is out there. All of it is for you. And Northwest, of course, has all of their social media sites up and going as well. The latest in the athletic world and national champions belong to the women's soccer team. And the head coach, James Beattie, will join me. We'll talk with James on the other side, and we'll keep him for a little bit as our guest today. Other information we'll get to a little bit later on as the program goes along. Football is playing tomorrow, and I have chatted with Brian Lentz, and in travel mode to get to Iowa Western. We're going to try and have him on tomorrow's program, just kind of highlighting what's going on as number 4 Northwest football takes on number 1 Iowa Western in the football playoffs. But next, let's talk national championship soccer. It's the Bank First Ranger Hour.
This hour is everything Northwest. Your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College and powered by Bank First. Thanks for joining us on the Bank First Ranger Hour. Join the conversation now by texting 662-426-1093.
It is 9:20 on this Bank First Ranger Hour, and the discussion goes to the NJCAA Division II Women's National Champion Soccer Program. Their head coach, James Beattie, is back on with us. Coach James, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I guess you have to be on cloud nine still after all of that and the season that is. So I congratulate you and the ladies on the season, your coaching staff, and everybody for what went on. I have to admit, right, I don't know as much about your sport as I know about baseball or football or basketball, but for any team to go 22-0 in any is amazing in its own right. But in soccer, correct me, right? To play 22 games, not have a draw anywhere, right? You won all 22. I mean, it's amazing to do what you did anyway, but to do it without a tie in there somewhere on top of that. How explain to us not only how hard that was, but how amazing a year it is when you can accomplish what you did.
Yeah, definitely one for the books for sure. Going 22-0 and winning a national championship is something that obviously you can kind of hope for, but the reality of it is, if you were, a betting man before the season, you would have expected the team that wins the national championship to have took a loss or a tie here or there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think for us it was just like a special year, special group. I think just we had a really good group of people that came together and aligned. Everything just kind of fell the right way when it was all said and done. But yeah, it's definitely something that, like, don't ask me to do it again next year. Like, don't.
Yeah.
This can't become consistent. I would say that much. The winning can become consistent, but the 22-0 is, something that is definitely far-fetched when you think about it in August.
No doubt. And wire to wire, number 1 preseason, number 1 all the way through. Could you ever sense that the team felt any pressure with that, or was it just embraced it, knowing that they were thought well of before the season ever started, and just continued to go along?
I think, like I said to them, like, pressure is a privilege. So, I mean, for us, we didn't look at it as, like, we've got all these teams that are trying to hunt us down, and, we looked at it as every time we lined up, we've got to show why we're the number 1 team. So we really used it as motivation to showcase what we were capable of as a team, collectively, individually, and I think, looking back at it, we've done a really good job. of managing the environment from the start of the season to the finish, because and we spoke in the last show, like we had 2 major injuries that in the back of my mind that I kind of always thought could have came back to haunt us. But obviously it didn't, and I mean we just rolled with the punches, and obviously just everything aligned when we made it to that national stage.
I don't know if you can, but can you pinpoint one thing above the rest that made this team so good? I mean, you can look at the stats and you can see what your goalkeepers did, and I'm going to discuss that with you, and maybe what you did offensively and scoring goals. But was there something, off the pitch a little bit that you could point to and say, this is kind of the reason we had the ability to go 22-0?
Yeah, I mean, like each year we align as a team and we align individually. So what we do is we have individual meetings and we basically say, okay, what do you want this year to look like for you as an individual? We then have a team meeting and we discuss what we want, the team goals to be for the year. I'm looking at the team goals right now, and I can say it now that the season's over. The team goals were undefeated in conference play, win back-to-back state championships, and win the national championship. So I think the thing that's special with this group is like what we set out to do internally, and we made that goal back in August. What we set out to do internally really aligned us from the start to the finish. So I think just that alignment and everyone knowing where they stood at every point of the season, that's a standard that as a coaching staff we held them to. We kind of told them like, look, we're the pilot, tell us where you want to go. And if they would have said we want to win 10 games, we would have coached them to win 10 games. At that intensity, we were coaching them to hopefully win a national championship, which is what obviously the outcome was. So I think just the alignment and the culture at the program right now is like really strong.
To only give up 8 goals all season also speaks so well of your players defensively and then the person that's in goal. Can you discuss, I mean, look, there's so many things that are just amazing about this season, but what that side of things were able to accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what the expression is, offense wins games, defense wins championships. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think the fact that, the defenders, were really switched on, and it's hard to stay switched on for 22 games. I mean, I think that it's really easy to switch on in a national championship game defensively. What I look at is what are we doing when we win against the games and the teams that we should win. So I think just, again, goes back to the alignment of like what we set out to do at the start of the year. Really allowed us to hold them accountable to what, they said they wanted to do. And if you're going to win a national championship, you do need to give up very few goals.
Talking with Coach about the national championship women's soccer team at Northwest. You mentioned it. I mean, the pressure is there, and it's a privilege, and now the expectations. You set expectations early as soon as you walked on that campus. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that. And now you do have those expectations to work on already for next year. What mode are you in right now? Are you going to get a chance to enjoy Christmas with the family and do things, and then how soon do you crank it all up and get ready for the next season?
I'll tell you right now, it is Thursday. I was at a high school game Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I'm in recruiting mode, and I'm in recruiting mode not for next year's team. I'm in recruiting mode for 2 years away. That's where I'm at, if I'm being completely honest, which is definitely a ways away in regards to where we're at, but that's just the intensity that we kind of bring as a coaching staff. And we kind of work relentlessly on the recruiting side this time of the year with the high school season being in right now. But yeah, we're essentially working for the team in 2026. That's where we're at.
When are you going to get it to where we don't have to play soccer in 19-degree temperatures at night? In Mississippi, can we move it to where it gets warmer? Huh?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a petition, I'll sign it.
Yeah, right. I understand. How many of the players that are on the roster that just won this title are going to be back with you? How many are you trying to replace and get ready for next year? Obviously, I know you've got that number set, but like how many individuals could be back from this year?
So we have, like, roughly each year, we have probably about 12 to 14 that return, and then we have, like, 12 to 14 that we bring in. So about half of the lineup will be back next year, and then we've already signed the players that are coming in for this coming fall. So the team looks really exciting again next year, and, you know, kind of hoping to repeat the feat and have a similar season to what we had last year.
It has to probably feel good too. I mean, when you walk up to one of these high school matches, you got the Northwest gear on. They know it's a national championship. Coach and team taking a peek at them.
Yep.
Does that help in the that's a dumb question, Gary. It obviously helps in the recruiting world.
It doesn't hurt.
right. Yeah, it can't hurt you.
I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, without a doubt. And nationally too, Coach. I know we've talked about that, but how much does this help you in regards to stretching out? You know, I know we have DeSoto County in the area that has, you know, great soccer in and around a lot of the counties that are in the Northwest area. But now it has to open way, way, way many more doors across the country.
Yeah, I think it's really a start. Like, I think up until this point, Northwest, the last 3 years we've been at the national tournament, and I think it's just really established the program as, you know, a team that's consistently looking to get back to that stage every year. So I think for recruits domestically, internationally, you know, within the state, out with the state, it just kind of, when they look us up and, you know, like, it's such a good place, like, on and off the field, I think that's what helps, is, like, it's not just the team that has the success, like, the administration, like, President Dr. Heindl's just, I mean, he was at every game, more or less, this year. And the support that we get from him, the support that we get from the administration, you know, the amount of money that they put into athletics, and it's like, I feel as if, you know, a lot of administrators across the nation, like, they care, but, like, here, like, they really care. Like, I mean, literally, our semi-final, our presence at the game, our final, the presence at the game, most of our home games, if not them all, presence at the game. So, I mean, I think just the pour of, you know, love into the program really starting to show, and that, again, allows us, when kids come on campus from different parts of the globe or different parts of the country, you can feel it. You can feel that there's something special happening here at Northwest.
Last thing, kind of for me, I know these championships were played in Huntsville, Alabama, and as I've mentioned on the program, and with you, lived there for about 5 years or so. How did the city of Huntsville embrace, you know, the championship soccer? Yeah,
I thought it was a really well hosted tournament. Like, we played our first two games at you know, like a soccer complex, like the pool play. We played at a soccer complex. We played our semi-final and our final game at Joe Davis Stadium, which is the professional soccer team. I think it's Huntsville Soccer Club, their professional soccer team stadium. So, no, I really enjoyed Huntsville. It was honestly the first time that I had went there, so Huntsville definitely got a special place in my heart in regards to, you know, when I think of Huntsville, I now think of winning a national championship. So it's definitely not a negative place.
Was your little boy, is he old enough to have enjoyed what was going on with Dad and the soccer team?
No, he doesn't know if it's New York or New Year. He's got no idea what's going on. He came for the final, and yeah, I don't think he watched a minute of the game. At the end of it, I think he kind of had an idea that maybe something had happened when everyone was celebrating, but yeah, he doesn't know anything yet.
But that's something, Dad, you will never forget, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Look, my friend, thanks for being on this program all throughout the season. I know we talked prior, and the superstitious baseball guy in me was like, "Oh no, I don't want to jinx anything." There was nothing to jinx. You had a great team, great season. Congratulations, and we'll chat before next year.
Really appreciate it. You have a great day.
Thank you, Coach James Beattie with us. 22-0, and again, in any sport, to go unbeaten is amazing. But you people have watched or have noticed enough in the world of soccer to understand there are ties, draws, as they're called, or you're going to take a loss in a shootout somewhere, and it just didn't happen. 22-0, giving up 8 goals all season. And they averaged over 4 goals per game. There were some tight matches. There were some close ones. But he scheduled a very difficult beginning of the year. And as I went back and you kind of look at the schedule, almost half of the teams, because in the state of Mississippi there's so many nationally ranked clubs as well, they played almost half of their schedule against nationally ranked teams. Whether it was prior to the Mississippi Conference getting underway or then when it did go. And they had to play Holmes Community College 3 times, and all 3 times Holmes was ranked in the top 5. 22-0. Special. Unbelievable year. Congratulations to the Lady Ranger soccer team. NJCAA Division II national title winners. Great job, Coach. We shall return. There are other things to get to in our program today. Other information in the world of sports with things going on campus tonight as well. So we'll jump into that and we'll continue what is called the Bank First Ranger Hour in a few.
Thanks for listening to the Bank First Ranger Hour, your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College on Super Talk Mississippi 93.7 and streaming live at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the Bank First Ranger Hour.
And we're 20 minutes away from 10, working on a Thursday and the Bank First Ranger Hour. Thanks to Coach James Beattie, Northwest Community College soccer coach, women's soccer national champions. 22-0. And it's off recruiting and nonstop go and continue and get ready for what's coming up, as he mentioned, even 2 years down the line. Other things that are going on in Northwest. Yesterday's program was on National Signing Day, and I have a few of the guys that signed scholarships on the current Northwest team who are on their way to Iowa to get ready to play number 1 Iowa Western in the football playoffs. And again, Brian Lentz is going to be on our program tomorrow to discuss that with me. But a couple of guys signed with 4-year schools. There will be others, I am sure, that will or have. But a few of the names: Tylen Coleman, defensive lineman, signed with Florida State. Offensive lineman Jakeem Shumpert with Mississippi State. Coastal Carolina came in and got a couple of guys off of the Northwest team. Demarion Petit, running back, and Fred Adams, a defensive back. And offensive lineman Stratton Smith signed with Austin Peay. I'm sure there will be others, but there is a reason that this Northwest team is number 4 in the country in football and playing for a national title. They're guys that are going to be playing on Saturdays in the upcoming years. And places like Florida State, Mississippi State, Coastal Carolina, and Austin Peay. So kudos to them. And we'll get more into the actual game on tomorrow's program. Northwest middle blocker Kaya Coleman signed with Lincoln Memorial University in volleyball. She committed in July. Volleyball had another great year in the world of that sport. And then a couple of other things. We have Coach Will Loomis on as a guest a lot, the Northwest rodeo coach. He's actually in the spotlight this week because he not only is a coach, but he is a professional steer wrestler. And he is out and going in the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, which starts today and goes through the 14th at the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas. So good luck, Coach Loomis. We'll keep up with that as for the next week and a half or so. The National Rodeo Finals going on in Vegas at the Thomas and Mack Center. We'll keep up with Coach Loomis and see how he does again competing nationally in his event. Basketball on the campus tonight for Northwest. Men only in basketball against Phillips Community College. 6 p.m. tip-off there at Howard Coliseum. If you need to get a little hoop action, Coach Oakley and the guys looking for a win over Phillips Community College. Northwest currently 2-5 in men's basketball. A lot of close losses so far. And then, although in the community college world, a lot of times it is this week with school getting out and not coming back into early January that, basketball takes a break. There will actually, though, for the men, be the Harvey Childers Classic played at Northeast Community College in Boonville on the 13th and the 14th of the month. So the men's basketball team will kind of stick around and play a couple of games. Going to Boonville on Friday the 13th. Oh, boy. Friday the 13th. We got one of those coming up. And then Saturday the 14th, where they will play Missouri State University West Plains and the same Phillips Community College team that they're playing tonight at home in Senatobia. So some basketball happening with the Northwest men tonight in Senatobia, and then, as I mentioned, on the 13th and the 14th for Coach Williams and the women's basketball team. They played their last game on Monday and will not play again until they play East Mississippi on January the 5th, or the 9th, actually. So well over a month between games for the Northwest Lady Rangers, and it will be East Mississippi and Senatobia when that gets started. So men's basketball tonight, 6 o'clock if you're looking for sports. Northwest Choir at the Heindl Center right across the street. That'll be going on at 7. And you can pick, choose, maybe do both. Catch a little bit of the hoops, then just walk across the street. Catch the choral department doing a free concert for you. So you have a lot of things that you can do on the Northwest campus tonight. And then, as I mentioned, football is going on. You've got the Northwest Rangers, 10-1 on the season. They finished number 4 in the national rankings. They will take on Iowa Western on Friday at 7 o'clock. Brian Lentz will be on with us. In fact, if you do have ESPN Plus, you'll be able to watch the game that way. Live stats will be up on the website for Northwest. And the other game, which will have Georgia Military hosting Hutchinson, Kansas, that game will be on Sunday. And then next week, the teams meet for the championship. So Northwest has made it to this spot a couple of times and now trying to do it again and doing so at the number 1 team in the country, Iowa Western. So we'll talk with Brian about that tomorrow. But there's all kinds of things that are happening with Northwest football. You can read all about it at Northwest at NWCCRangers.com. Good things happening all around. Academics about to take a little pause and get back and start it again in January. So a semester about to come to an end and then get going again. So there's all kinds of things still before it is done. And I want to go ahead and remind you of this. And I know when we get closer to the event, we'll bring out a little bit more about it with guests. But the big foundation fundraiser, the Northwest Soiree, is scheduled for March 29. You need to get that on your calendar now. It is the premier fundraiser to make an impact on the lives of Northwest students, and that again will be on March the 29th as The money raised there obviously goes into scholarships and different things to make the experience what it can be at Northwest. The soiree will be at the Heindl Center. You can get your tickets at heindlcenter.org for that as well. So all of that is coming up, and we encourage you as the school continues to grow as far as students are concerned, as far as buildings are concerned, as far as athletics are concerned. It's big stuff happening at NWCC, and so we prepare you for the soiree coming up in March. Thanks again to James for being on with us, coaching the women's soccer team to a 22-0 season and a national championship, and for you for being along with us today on this program. Been a pleasure being with you on this Thursday edition of the Bank First Ranger Hour, a December 5th, 2024 show in the books. Hang out with the rest of the crew at Super Talk 93.7 today, and we'll talk tomorrow. So long.